I, on behalf of ANMI, wish all a very happy new year. This is ANMI's 33rd knowledge webinar series. As always, we have all the MIIs on board: NSE, BSE, MCX, NCDEX, MSEI. And this time we've added even software vendors who are representing and gracing the occasion today. In today's webinar, we are going to seek more clarity and resolve queries, if any, on the reporting formats of client level, cash, cash equivalent balances, and holding statements. ANMI had, based on the feedback of members, had requested to reduce the multiple file formats that we keep uploading to different exchanges, and a simplified process with a single uniform file format has been accepted positively, and which is now common across all the exchanges. Our panel consists of today Mr. Mahesh Agal from NSE, Mr. Subhankar Chaudhary from NSE, Mr. Kiran Sawant from BSE, Mr. Nilesh Sangani from Comtech Business Soft, Sanjay Kumar from Synergy Software. I welcome all of them. I request Mr. Subhankar Chaudhary, who is the Senior Inspection Manager, to update the members regarding the brief details of the circular which had come out on the 17th and 18th of December. Rather 17th, some exchanges took it up on the 18th. And he has got almost a 10 years handling experience on inspections at the NSE. Over to you, Subhankar ji.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Very good afternoon to all our members. Actually, we are conducting this webinar to get a more clarity on the changes that we have circulated to the market in a reporting format in client level cash and cash equivalent balances and holding statement. So just before straight jumping into the changes in the format and discussing the nuances in the format, just to give a brief, this regulatory requirement that has been put forth to the members was primarily due to a few reasons. One of them was that the format was not uniform across all the exchanges. I mean, equity exchanges maintained a separate format, commodity exchanges maintained a separate format. Further, the periodicity of submissions were different from equity exchanges. It was different from commodity exchanges. What this was one of the reason. Another reason was primary reason was nowadays members are making a lot of submissions. I mean, from weekly monitoring of client funds under enhanced supervision to monthly upload of client fund balances to uploading holding statements to client level cash and cash equivalent submissions to bank balance reporting. So there are a lot of submissions. So exchanges thought of discussing it with the members and our back office vendors, so that a uniform, a unique report can be created to discontinue the other reports, and we have successfully been able to do that. If you have noticed that exchanges have already issued a circular on discontinuing the monthly upload of funds and balances under enhanced supervision model. So that has been discontinued. And further, what we endeavor is, with this implementation of this revised format of cash and cash equivalent balances and holding statement, we will further discontinue the weekly upload of data towards monitoring of client funds also. So basically, primarily now members will be required to upload only two data. One is weekly cash and cash equivalent balances and holding statement. The third primary reason was that, while yes, obviously giving some benefit to the members, exchange also wanted to have a supervision model created out of it. If you remember, SEBI has issued a recent circular on peak margin verification, wherein exchanges were required to monitor or let's say verify the margins on a weekly basis. So exchanges also thought that, why not take information from the members in this format, so that this will also help in offsite monitoring. So this was actually the purpose of issuing this circular. So to just give a brief. So now I think Aditya, if you can just share the screen of Annexure A on guidelines on cash and cash equivalent balances.
So just while Aditya shares, just a quick point is that with this, I think most of the data will rest with the MIIs, and probably at some point in time, uh, inspections will be only point-wise inspections, probably, and hopefully, once we put this on a daily basis, I think even the penalties may be structured from the exchange if they find a shortfall. So I guess so. Maybe not immediately, but maybe about a couple of quarters later.
Yes, sir. Rightly said. Rightly said. I mean, in this time of this COVID pandemic, on-site inspection is becoming very difficult. So, one more reason to change the format was to create a desktop monitoring of members, because this kind of information gives a holistic view of the financial strength of the member. So, this will also help the exchange to do the offsite monitoring also. But again, but ultimately the benefit, I mean, the objective was to create a uniform format, so that member don't need to generate a separate report for equity exchanges, separate report for commodity exchanges. They need to report the same data, more than once to the exchanges. So this was the ultimate objective. So speaking of this
I think
time.
excellent. All the MIs, along with associations, of course, MIs have prepared an excellent format for the same. So yeah, with that we can go ahead, Subhankar.
Yeah. So, with regard to this format, initially we will discuss about this cash and cash equivalent format. So, in this, I mean, we have tried to incorporate certain informations, to accommodate both equity exchanges reporting as well as commodity exchanges reporting, and to accommodate the details that the members are reporting to the in the monthly upload, so that we can disk into the monthly upload. So I will just speak of the changes that we have brought in. One is the sixth column, that is MTF non-MTF indicator. Initially, the we just changed the name. Apart from that, the data will remain the same. Additionally, we have also added three columns of financial ledger balance of MCX, NCDX, and ICX. The primary reason was that since commodity exchanges does not come under interoperability, so under enhanced supervision guidelines, they need to send these ledger balances to the clients. So that's why we kept these three columns. For equity exchanges, again, since we come under interoperability, so we don't have exchange specific balances. So the balances which have been sent to the clients from the equity exchanges will remain the same. Apart from that, we have added few columns like credit entry in ledger in lieu of EPI, pool account, and uncleared checks. So basically, these three columns have been added for the ease of offsite verification of the margin that SEBI has stipulated. When I say credit entry in the ledger in lieu of EPI, in month of August, in the month of July, exchange issued a circular in the wake of pledge repledge mechanism. So their exchange specifically mentioned that any securities that have been given by the client to the member, and member has done the EPI, early paying of securities, and posted that in the ledger of the client, that amount can be considered for margin purpose for further exposure. So we just want to capture that information, that what is the amount that has been posted in the ledger in lieu of EPI, because that benefit is given to the client. So this is one column. Second is the pool account. Pool account, basically this information will be the amount of securities that have been given by the client to the member in the pool account after selling the securities. Because again, exchange has issued a clarification that if the securities are moved into the pool account of the member, then no further margin will be required for that particular transaction. So that's why we incorporated this column. And obviously unclear checks, since we have financial ledger balance and ledger balance clear, we give benefit of checks which are deposited by T+1 and cleared by T+5. So that's why we incorporate another column of mentioning the details of those uncleared checks, which will be deposited by T+1 and get cleared by T+5. Apart from this, there are two additional information that we are taking, which will actually help us in discontinuing the weekly monitoring of client funds data that members are currently submitting on every last Friday of the week. So that's why we have kept it early enhanced supervision information type. So there we are taking couple of informations which we will be requiring from the member, like funded portion of the BG, unutilized collateral lying with the clearing member, total margin utilized by the credit balance clients, total debit balance clients, and total credit balance clients. So these are the informations that we will be taking from the member. Apart from that, other informations we will manage out of clearing corporations and the bank balance reporting that the members are currently submitting. So this was about this cash and cash equivalent balances. Aditya, if you could just move to the annexure B. So the annexure B is regarding the guidelines for the holding statement. Holding statement, we haven't done much change apart from 2-3 columns. Update or make a uniform format for both equity exchanges as well as commodity exchanges. We have just added the column of name of commodities and type, because commodities, unlike securities, they are traded in grams, kilo, quintal, barrels. So that they need to mention. And we have additionally added a segment in the column number 9, security or commodity types. So that we have added. So apart from that, there are not much change in the securities holding format. This was just a brief about all the changes that we have put in the format. I think rather than discussing on this, we should kickstart the question answer session, so that we will be able to resolve any questions that currently the members have. We are separately, we already had one of the discussions with us back office vendors also. Because they are ultimately the persons who will be getting the infrastructure, so they should be well versed with this format, and they should know the nuances. We have separately, we have conducted this webinars with them, and we are also conducting these webinars with the members also for their understanding. So if you could just kickstart this question answer.
Oh, sure. Sure, Mr. Subhankar. I think that was a reasonable good brief. But before we actually move on to the question answers, just take a couple of minutes to introduce Mr. Mahesh Agal, who is currently working with the inspection department of NSE and handles all circulars, rules, regulations, related work, including drafting and finalization. So you know why all the drafting and this finalization is so particular and to the point. It's all thanks to Mahesh Bhai. By qualification, he is a CA and FRM. We have even Kiran Sawant from the Brokers Supervision BSc. He's managing a professional team of people which manages the inspection of members in commodities market as per SEBI compliance requirements, overseeing all activities including inspection, giving penalties, process improvements of inspection team by liaison with senior management and concerned departments within BSc. We have Nilesh Sangani. He's director and promoter of Comtech, and he's having 34 years of experience in back office software development, compliance, business and risk management processes of broking industry. Sanjay Kumar, director Synergy Software, having an experience of more than 30 years in industry. Synergy is providing back office solutions for broking depository participants, commodity brokers. Synergy is based out of Delhi. What is the most important aspect is a lot of queries and questions which are within the members' mind. We will take up questions one by one. But before we do that, our software is really ready. Can I ask that question to our two of the anyone can take it, either Sanjay or even Nilesh can take this. So the
Yeah.
circular has come in somewhere in December of 17th. So post that, I think a couple of meetings were done along with the exchange and associations, etc. But then finally, is the software in place? Because finally, for a broker, all he requires is the MIS report, and if all the columns are fine and if there is no violation, he uploads it. So, and there is no confusion whether this is correctly collected, and the compliance is done 100%. So,
Yeah, I'll answer.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kamlesh, for inviting Back Office Finder for group. Now as far as the software is concerned, yes, we all brokers vendor group. I mean the Back Office Vendor group are united, and we always address common query to the NSE BSA inspection team, and we interact with Mahesh Agal, etc. And this circular particularly has been explained to us in detail in I think 15-20 days back. And subsequently, whatever questions that we all vendors had, it has also been replied or clarified. And few of the suggestions which came from the vendor side also, Mahesh Agal explained that he will be taking care of those questions. And even little amendment to the circular, maybe in terms of FAQ. As far as the readiness is concerned, as we represent the collectivity of all the vendors are progressing, their development, and we are expecting UAT in 1 or 2 days. And then I think all the vendors will test that software and probably ready to go live on 16th.
So generally, maybe 2 or 3 days post the UAT testing will take, and
Yeah,
we should be good to
correct.
go.
So see, there are phases of testing. One is the development testing, which each of the vendor, this is a generic process among all the releases. Each of the vendor is developing and then testing with their sample clients data. That is number one. Number two, after testing, if there are any concerns, again it is resolved with the help of exchange team in case any clarification is required, or vendors logic, etc. After that, once the things are signed off at 2 or 3 brokers of each vendor, usually there is a process of mass deployment. See, on an average, as you people are aware, on an average, each vendor might be having 50 plus around 50 or 100 installations. So the related training, the related concepts has been then deployed, which usually takes 6 to 7 days in a normal circumstances. So those things will be taken, I mean, then deployment will take place. So as the things
I'll
go
just
forward,
add
yeah.
one thing to this. And it has been
Sure.
really great. Now we are directly interacting with exchanges, and the kind of webinars we had in past, whether it was a peak margin or margin pledge, and even this circular. So a lot of clarifications which earlier used to take more time, and at times was getting missed out, is now not there. So we had a very good session, and I think we've already got some clarification. Few more will be there, and we are just waiting for the UAT. So most of us are at least ready with their beta. So we are just waiting for UAT server. So once we get the UAT, then I think we will be able to meet the deadline this time. I hope so.
I think that's great news. So technically, if you go to see if the software guys are all ready, our questions are all resolved. We may have no questions, but at the same time, I think from ANMI's perspective, members have been saying, in case if exchanges could look at this option of not, because this is a penalty leviable situation. So just in case, if they can, of course, we are not asking for a date to be postponed into a further ahead, but at least if penalty trials can be done and penalty can be levied after maybe a couple of weeks or maybe 30 days or something, if that's a possibility, versus we will of course definitely fall in place, but that's a request. That's something which had come up to members. So we are now ready to take up question answers. So what we will do is that um, while we get, I think, while we get questions, could we, does Kiran Bhai or Mahesh Bhai want to come in with a couple of points or anything that they would want to?
Yeah, hi Kamlesh. Just wanted to add one more thing. By tomorrow, we will issue our UAT circular, so member can start UAT testing from tomorrow onwards.
Oh, super.
Thank you.
Kiran Bhai, anything from your side?
Yeah. In the holding, the KUSA account, even if it is not mentioned in the circular clearly, KUSA account will continue to be uploaded in the holding.
Okay.
I think once back office vendors said that they are ready, so I think questions are not there now.
Yeah. I was just looking at that. So I guess, and that's exactly what the point is, because I think most, once the compliance is all done, and if we just have to upload the file, as you rightly said, and if the software is in place, brokers don't mind it, So our basic problem is that there should be zero penalty. So that is the whole rationale that brokers generally run on. कि भाई penalty नहीं लगना चाहिए.
So Kamlesh ji, on a lighter note, all the vendors are trying hard, always on all releases to have almost zero penalty as long as the clarification and things are obtained.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got the first one on. It's from Mr. Ramchandra Sate. I don't know the company. Do we have to include FDR in total debit, total credit amount?
So I think Mr. Ramchand Sate is trying to ask if client has given FDR, so whether we need to report in ledger balances. If it is the question, then answer is no, because when client has given FDR, then there is a separate column, BG and FD. So member needs to report in FD column.
Correct. And I think the same thing would happen as far as the BG is also concerned.
Right. And currently we are following the same guideline.
Okay. Second one is kindly explain about the client funding. I know it's a generic question, but how does I think the client funding part, which is to be shown up in these uploads, how do they? How is that to be done?
Sorry, we did.
So he's just So what he has asked is that explain about client funding. So even I haven't. That's the only question that he's put in. We'll take the third one in the meanwhile. Can we place client cash to PCM from client account?
Sorry, Kamlesh, can you please repeat your once again?
So the question that's come in seems to be what I have understood is that can client cash be from the client account be paid to the PCM, professional clearing member? If a member is with the PCM, can he pay from the client account to the PCM, which is fine as far as cash is concerned.
No, I mean the question is not clear exactly what is trying.
Okay, then we'll take the next one, Sharad Agarwal Broking Services. After posting the credit entry for EPI, theoretically the bank balance do not match with the total credit of clients, and there is a mismatch.
I would like to come here. See, exactly there will not be any mismatch, because when we say API credit, the column 7 where we are showing the ledger balance will include API credit entry, whereas column 8 which says clear balance will exclude because EPI is treated as an open settlement only. Correct me, Mahesh, if I'm wrong, because
Yeah, absolutely right, Abhishek ji.
so column 8 will,
in column number 8, clear balance is required where EPI entry does not consider. So I think there is no concern from mismatching something.
there won't be any mismatch.
Yeah, there would not be.
So another question that comes in from Manish Shah from JK Securities is that whether amount credited in lieu of EPI to be mentioned only in case of considered against further exposure. So yes, if you've done an EPI, you can consider it as for further exposure. That is, you can give that credit to take further exposure.
So here there are 3 columns. Column number 17 pertains to EPI, column number 18 pertains to pool, and column number 19 pertains to uncleared check. So please connect all these 3 columns with margin reporting. So if you are considering EPI value for margin reporting purpose, pool security for margin, uncleared check for margin reporting purpose, then you need to report here.
Yes. I think no more questions is what seems so.
Kamlesh, if you don't mind, I want to mention one more important point.
Please go ahead.
So, in case of holding statement, there is column number 12. 12 talks about pledge balance, pledge quantity. So here members are not.
Mahesh bhai, we just lost you.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're fine now. You were talking about the column number 12 for MTF.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yes, Mahesh bhai, go ahead.
Let me connect again. I am unable to hear.
No, we can hear you. Are you able to hear us? If you
hello, Kamlesh ji, now am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, sorry for interruption. So I was talking about pledge quantity column. So here members are not supposed to report security pledged through pledge and repledge mechanism. So here member needs to report on security if on security is pledged with CC in old mechanism. Then they needs to report in this column. It is not for pledge and repledge mechanism. So this is the most common confusion for this column.
Fair enough. I think that's a good clarification. Okay, then we have another question, that is the credit entry in ledger in lieu of EPI. This is for the security. So if someone's done a security early EPI, then that credit will be there. But early paying of funds will be a debit entry in notional ledger.
Okay, so what is the query?
So the query is, I suppose, because that's all that he has written. So will that EPI funds can be used for additional exposure?
So fund is already paid to CC in case of EPI fund. So if it is already paid to CC, then how can member use
then
fund?
Margin will not be there actually. If there is a early paying of funds, then there is no margin as such, right, Maheshji? So that can be used.
But the query, I think the query is if fund is already paid, then whether we can use again the same fund. Is it the query?
Yeah, so
I
he just
don't
put that
understand
query.
it.
But
Query is half.
yeah, it's a query which is half. But we assume that if that is the case, if it is a fund chain, then that amount cannot be used for giving further exposure.
Yeah, if it is already paid to CC, then it cannot be used.
Where the next one is where the FDR created on behalf of unsettled creditors is to be shown. Where it has to be shown, where the FDR created for unsettled funds is to be shown.
Okay, so here I
Sir,
think
FDR
member
is
is trying to
created by
say,
client or
yeah, Subhankar, please go ahead.
no, sir. Just wanted to clarify, these funds are created by the client or member? Because if it is being created by then anyways it will come in the FDR column. But if it is created by the member, then respective ledger balances of those clients will reflect in the separate
Unsettled
column.
creditors.
So I think what
So
they are
basically,
trying to
technically
say.
speaking, creating the FD.
So I think,
If
as
member
I
is creating the
understand, it is,
FD,
yeah, member is creating FD on behalf of the client due to the excess credit in the ledger. Probably it seems like that.
Okay,
Correct.
Treated
okay,
as a FD bilateral.
got it, got it.
So
So
in
in
that
this,
case, yeah.
so in this case, so member is creating FDR from client fund. So the ledger credit entry is already
Yeah.
there. So that fund is already there in the column number 8. So no, not required to report again in separate column in FDR column.
Okay. So not necessary to report in FDR column.
But Maheshji, what will happen? You know, moment FD is created, the money will be reduced, and instead the FD will be created in a format. So I think FD will be there, and to that extent, probably ledger balance will get reduced. If you see the financial ledger, because there will be a payment entry in client's ledger. I mean, the money will be substituted by
no,
the
sir.
FDR.
No, sir. Even today, if a member is creating the a client's money and placing it with CC or CM, even then the balance does not get reduced to the extent of the amount of FD. It is still being shown in ledger balance.
Fine.
Suppose a client has given 1 lakh rupees, to the member, and member creates 50,000 FDR out of 50,000. So the ledger balance will not get reduced by 50,000. The ledger balance will still show 1 lakh. The situation will be different when client is giving a FDR. So when client is giving a FDR, then it will come under the column of fixed deposit receipt.
Fine.
Yeah, that's right, I think. Okay, with that, the next one is value total credit and total debit balances of ES information should match totals of which columns? Values total credit
Yeah, I think.
and total debit balances of ES information should match totals of which column?
Yeah, I think while giving the brief of this surplus, I missed out this point. Asking this information under enhanced supervision. So in enhanced supervision, members sub credit balance and debit balance data, clear balances of clients. I mean, after adjusting all the open bills, uncleared checks, and span margins that had been done. So after adjusting all those entries or reversing all those entries, member reports the credit balance and debit balance. So technically speaking, these two information level information should match with the column of financial ledger balance clear.
So which is that column number by any chance?
That is column number.
Handy.
Column number 8.
Column number 8.
Okay.
8. Financial ledger balance clear. So in that column, credit balances should match with the aggregate balance in enhanced supervision data. Yes, similarly, the debit balances in this column should match with the total debit balances in type.
Okay. I think that clarifies it. So the next one is that are we required to submit data for inactive clients as well?
So inactive client, if inactive client has some balances, then member are supposed to report. If inactive client does not have any balances, then members are not required to report. And the definition of inactive client has already clarified who client has not traded in last 12 months will be considered as inactive client.
I think perfect. I think the whole point is that any balance, whether be shares or cash cash equivalent, if it is of a client, has to be shown. And that is the purpose of the system. If you
Right.
have money of the client with you, you have to show it. Fair enough. If there's no balance, you don't need to show. The next one is we want to submit all pledge shares details in HS file. Is that a possibility?
It's placed through
Pledge share
pledge and
details
repledge
means,
mechanism.
under pledge. No, but
No, it is.
that exchange is not seeking any information from pledge repledge mechanism.
Okay.
So in holding statement, members are not required to submit the securities which are pledged under pledge repledge mechanism.
Those data is already available with the exchange.
Yeah, by the pledge repledge mechanism. Very true. The next one is that if FDR is created by broker and not given to CC, how is this to be shown in bank balance? So if the FDR is created by the broker, not given to CC, so he keeps the FDR, prepares the FDR, keeps it with him, doesn't give it to the CC. How is this to be shown in the bank balance?
It's not required to be shown now, Mahesh, because of client credit.
In the bank balance, do you have to show? I doubt so.
No.
Mahesh Bhai can clarify this.
So I think member is connecting with Enhanced Supervision weekly reporting. So we require some more information on this point.
Okay. Okay.
No,
There'll
but
be the-
generally, just a general question is that under what circumstances member will keep, create a out of client's money and will not deposit it with clearing corporation and clearing member? I mean, what is the being it lying in the?
There is, I suppose what I understand is if he already has enough collateral with the clearing corporation, then he may not find it necessary to give it to the CC and keep it with himself.
Then there is no if
No,
he has
Subhankar, why?
sufficient collateral with CC and CM, then there is no
Yeah,
there is no.
Subhankar, just trying to answer your question. Trying to answer your question, Subhankar. Usually, what happens, client has a credit balance which is not utilized. So instead of withdrawing that money, probably he asks or he requests the broker to keep it as a FD, and whatever interest that has been receivable will be passed on. Is what it seems. That is the only reason. Otherwise, anyway, they can give margin to PCM.
Yeah, because creating a FD but not giving it to CC and CM, that looks very odd.
Yeah, it is like getting interest out of that for short term, probably. I mean, it is not an actual market practice, but some might be doing it.
When Nilesh, even if he deposits it with the CC and CM, even then he will get the interest. Is it not?
Right.
Technically, yes.
I'm just.
True.
You are right. You are right. But his question is specific. He is not giving it to CC.
Creating FDR could be, that the additional credit balance doesn't go as a payout to the customer. Maybe he would like to move it to the FDR. But as rightly said, if it goes to CC, the interest will anyway come to him.
Maybe. Yeah, because I don't think the arrangement will change if it is placed to CC and CM and if it stays with the member.
Yeah, but
the only thing is maybe the rate of interest may be different. So maybe he wants to keep it with a little higher interest rate if he gets from a bank.
Creating an FD Now, whether the FD is with CC and whether it is with member, I don't think that will also create any
Doesn't make
difference
any
in
difference.
rate of interest also, because rate of interest will still prevail the same.
But he has specifically mentioned not given to CC for
No, but
and the purpose may
honestly,
not be
yeah,
given.
No, but do we have to show it in the bank balance? Which is no.
No.
Correct? Okay. With that, we go to the next one, that is early paying of funds. Bank balance reduces, but balance with exchange is not enhanced. For early paying of funds, how to handle this, as creditors' clear balance will be higher figure. Bank balance will be lower.
Just to understand the perspective, how the creditor balance will be higher?
Shubhankarji, the member has already made early paying of funds to the clearing corporation. So the client credit balance remains as it is. It is only the bank from here he has made early paying of funds. So bank balances get reduced, the actual bank balances, whereas the creditor, because it will be on a T plus
Yeah,
2.
so physical balance will get reduced
only,
because the moment you do an EPI, early paying of funds, the bank will take that balance off.
So only in cases of settlement and bill posting, the posting will be on a later date. So
Because see, customer made a payment. See, customer is on a credit today. It will be on a T plus 2. So that is probably the.
But in that case, I think the thing is that you should take this matter up with the CC, because it's their file that is not showing the sufficient reduction in the exposure.
So just to take this forward, how will the CC be able to? So will the CC give a similar credit? Is that what you're saying to the member?
No, just like securities, they should. I mean, CC will have.
Securities is fine, that credit comes through, but as far as this, early paying of funds.
Early paying of funds also, no, they will. If you are saying that they don't give credit of those funds, then you should represent to CC and create a mechanism of doing that.
Okay. The next one is that if we are repledge client shares, then we want to submit. I didn't get this.
No, whether it is pledge or repledge, no need to submit those details.
See, margin pledge and repledge is not going to be part of this holding upload. We should be very clear, because people are getting confused, because at many places margin pledge specifically is not being written. Anything related to margin pledge and repledge is not to be reported, because already there with the system. So it is only the shares which are pledged like it used to be pledged earlier, and the shares lying in BUSA and your pool account should be reported.
In column 17 of EPI, as it is connected with margin reporting, so should we report total available EPI value or total utilized EPI value against the margin requirement?
Sir, either of the both is fine with us, but it should be posted in the ledger.
It should be posted.
So from a back office point of view, I think this is what we discussed in the last webinar also. We will be showing the full EPI value. It may or may not be utilized, because then the activity in the back office increases a lot. Now, how much percentage, how much was used, not used. So we prefer to report the total EPI credit available with us.
Sir, we are fine with both. I mean, if you show excess, while verifying the margin, we will get excess collateral. That's okay with us.
Okay. Are we required to show EPI amount in column number 7? If we show EPI amount and it's a notional entry, then it will confuse clients, as EOD ledger picture will not be correct.
So, but if EPI has been posted in the ledger and members are supposed to give the financial ledgers to the client, then obviously that EPI will come in this column number 7. Financial ledger balance will include the EPI.
So yes, they are required to show in 7.
Yes. It's only in the clear balance, that is column number 8, they have to reverse the effect.
But Subhankar ji, what happens, if a client sells say 4 lakh rupees worth of securities, 4 scripts on Monday, and there is a early paying done for 2 lakh rupees. So, totally it will show 6 lakh rupees. The number question is that. So client may get confused because while showing it to the client, back office can suppress. But because it is reported and probably this data may be broadcasted to the client by way of SMS. So there it might show 6 lakh. So the concern is that.
The situation come when he is doing a T-day posting. If it's a T+2 day posting, then the situation will not arise. The 4 lakh credit will come on T+2.
Correct. But see, in market, there are 2 type of system, both T-day as well as T+2. So the member concern is that were valid, that the client will get confused about 6 lakh, whereas the practically it is only 4 lakh. For the Monday.
So in that case, sir, even the margin posting, span margin posting that has been done on a daily basis. I mean, posted on T-day and reversed on T+1 day. Even that creates a confusion. But again, I mean, the way the journals are being posted in the ledger, it clearly indicates that this is a notional entry, or let's say a temporary entry which gets reversed on the T+1 day, or in case of EPI, it will get reversed on T+2 day.
Correct. But when this data is broadcasted by the clearing corporation or the exchange, client will not understand. If client sees the back office ledger, they might understand. Not with the SMS data. The concern is that probably.
Mahesh, you want to come on in this?
No, I think Subhankar has already covered all the point. So Nilesh ji, for column number 7, EPI needs to consider, there is no doubt. And for client perspective, maybe currently it is the practice, it is already there. So in monthly enhanced supervision, members are already, or exchanges are already sending the same data. So I think there is no much concern.
Fair enough. We'll take the next one. Need clarification on pledge column again. What has to be mentioned in pledge, TM and CC?
Are you talking about column number 12 of holding statement? Pledge balance?
I think so. I think so, Mahesh, they are talking about the statement.
Yeah, Mahesh, I think there is a lot of confusion on that column.
Okay. So let me repeat once again. In column number 12, the nomenclature is pledge balance, header column. So pledge balance, here member need to show if own securities are pledged through old mechanism. Old mechanism means other than pledge and repledge mechanism, then member needs to report in this column. Own security, client security should not be reported in this column.
Mahesh, can I just explain it further?
Yeah, please.
Who are giving members who are giving shares to the NBFC or some other entity by way of pledging, that needs to be reported here.
On security, right, Nilesh ji?
On security, they're on members on security.
Yes.
Actually, okay.
And
so there are two things. I think Mahesh told one aspect and Nilesh ji told one aspect. Actually, member needs to report both the aspects. I mean, if own securities are pledged with bank NBFC, that will come under the pledge column. Currently, we have discussed, second aspect is currently we have discussed it with clearing corporation also, that members may give their own or proprietary securities through the old mechanism. I mean, transferring it to the stockbroker collateral account and then giving it in favor of CC. If that is the case, then also those securities which are given through the old mechanism through stockbroker collateral account, that will also come under this pledge column.
That's a 12 number, right?
So, Subhankar ji, I think there is a confusion. Mahesh ji, in our previous session, when we asked anything which is placed to clearing corporation need not be reported. Only it is side. That is what
in old mechanism, other than pledge
in
or
all
repledge.
mechanism. Yes.
So
what now Subhankar says is, even if a member pledges all as per all system to the clearing corporation, I think it need not be reported because the data is already there in the clearing
Nilesh, what Subhankar is trying to say, own security
Hmm.
is pledged in existing mechanism, means other than pledge or repledge mechanism, then it needs to be reported here. Okay, so it is pledged with CC. And the second aspect you are saying, own security is pledged with bank and NBFC. So these two detail needs to be needs to be shown in pledge balance column number 12. But in any case, client security which are pledged through pledge or repledge mechanism, which these details are not required to be given in this column. This is very clear. We have clarified in our FAQ also, margin FAQ, 31st July.
Okay. I think that's clear. Let's take the next one. That is, again, it's a repeat question. Should we report for inactive clients? As long as there is some balance, some credit of the client, you will have to report. Then the next one is, Then the next one is, I want to understand peak financial ledger. What's that?
Mahesh, on this column number 9, lot many queries are coming. If you could just explain that column 9 of reporting, where we have to show peak ledger, peak credit there, you have mentioned in the circular. So if you could just explain that to the members.
Yeah, okay. So if you see column number 8, where we want, so I am connecting column number 9 with column number 8. So in column number 8, member needs to report peak ledger balances. Clear ledger balances. So clear ledger balances means after adjusting open bill, unclear check, or any margin obligation. So in case if client has peak balance during the day, sorry,
Go ahead, sir.
Aditya, just show the
column number 9
9
is,
if you could just come down, scroll down a bit. Yeah. That's it.
so in column number 9, you member need to report highest net credit balance of the client across all segment and exchanges. So clear balances you are already calculating for column number 8, and column number and peak clear balances again you are calculating for margin reporting purpose. The same peak clear balances you need to report here. Shubhankar, you want to add something?
Yeah, I guess that's the correct interpretation.
I'll just add one to this. In case there is no credit and it's only debit, then also we need to report with a minus figure. Correct? Isn't it, Maheshji?
Mr. MP Bala Sharma, can you just mute your? Thank you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Maheshji, the way we were discussing the other day, though it has been mentioned peak credit balance, but in case a customer has got only debit balance, still we need to report it with a minus figure, isn't it?
So are you saying client has withdrawn some clear balances during the day?
No, there is a debit balance. So let's say that with clear balance is a debit balance, and there's nothing else. So we the way we were discussing the other day, we need to report debit balance also as a minus figure. It's not only peak credit which we need to report, isn't it?
After removing the effect, it becomes debit. You'll have to mention debit.
This is actually, I just wanted to confirm it.
It should be the minimum debit balance, right? Not the maximum.
It will be the minimum debit balance.
Minimum debit balance.
Yeah.
And debit, just for the benefit of member, debit should be reported with a minus sign, whereas a credit should be reported with a plus sign.
Okay, so I think we've subsumed the next question, that is in column number 9. Highest peak ledger reporting should not include uncleared check balances. Correct, right?
Sorry, come again.
So in column number 9, highest peak ledger reporting should not include uncleared check balances. Uncleared should not be part of the column 9. In column 9, highest peak ledger reporting should not include uncleared check balances.
Yes, we have to.
Yeah, unclear check is not part of a clear balances.
Correct. The next one is done EPI of 5 crores and given credit to client for further exposure. But we don't have our own funds as the amount is to be received in the next 2 days from exchange, as we are using other clients' fund in this case. So client sold shares, EPI done for 5 CR, given credit to client, but we don't have our own funds as the amount is to be received in the next 2 days from exchange, as we are using other client funds. You'll have to, I think, increase his capital adequacy, I suppose.
Client A fund cannot be used for client B. Right. Member is what member is trying to say.
It's not AB. He's saying that, of course, he gets this EPI credit, but he doesn't have enough funds to take the new trade. Adequacy, I presume that he feels that the adequacy is not there enough to take the new trade. A and B to anyways cannot do it. So if that is the point,
Right.
you cannot use client A's funds for client B.
Right.
Okay, we need some clarity on this. Maybe if you can retype it and set it. As far as client A, B, you cannot net off. So that is clear. Okay, the next one is required to consider KUSA holding account in column number 18. So KUSA holding to be considered in column number 18. Are we required? That's the question.
No. KUSA is separate. This is for pool account securities only. Column number 18.
So not required. The next one is if untraceable credits are found for 50,000 and FDR of 50,000 is created against these clients. In this case, credits are appearing in file, but where to show the funds available in the form of FDR since it is not in bank balance. So clients who has left some money in the broker's books, clients are not traceable. FDR is made of that. Where should we show those FDRs? As the money is not in the bank.
So here not traceable means member is unable to identify.
Unable to identify, or maybe change of address, or the person is not there and some old credits are lying in the, that is what I understand. Because nowadays it's a T+2. So untraceable credits. But yeah, just in case, if we take this forward, that if some clients' monies are left for whatever reason and an FDR is made, where is the FDR to be, as it's not in the bank, where should one show?
we can get back on that later on, but actually if the unclaimed creditors are there, their credit balance is already there in the ledger. If he has created an FDR, that's a separate thing, we'll get back on that, but the ledger balance will be there. So technically speaking, this ledger balance is there in the column and it will suffice, and the FDR interest and anything will be a small amount, and FDR even if not mentioned, still we will know what is the credit balance available with the broker. So we'll get back on this, but ledger balance will suffice.
Okay, Kiran. Next one is, how can I give client cash to PCM as margin? Cash margin, client cash. I suppose it's check to PCM as margin, because cash anyways you're not supposed to. So how can I give client funds to PCM as margin? I guess we can skip this because this is not part of what we are.
Yeah, this query is not very clear and
Yeah.
not related to this
Not
format.
related to today's. How can I prepare client money FDR and give to PCM for margin? Does anyone want to take it, or it's a little non-relevant though? But if anyone wants to, how can I prepare client money fixed deposit and give to PCM for margin?
They need to ask their respective PCM methodology. It is an operational process, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
MTF
ask
funded
your
stock.
PC.
So we'll go to the next one. MTF funded stock should include in security balance with member.
Sorry, member.
MTF
So I
funded
think
stock should include in security balance with member. So,
okay, funded stock. I
funded
think
stock.
securities
The
are
funded
already
stock, yeah, funded by the member, which remains.
okay.
Yeah. So
So after these new rules, funded stocks are available in client account only. They only pledge through towards trading member. So again, the pledge since the securities are not available in trading member demat account, member are not supposed to report in holding statement.
okay. In column number 22, we have to report unblocked collateral with CM, but we are with clearing corporation and clearing members. So we'll report both. No questions till now. Can you just discuss the column 22, because this also question is not very clear unless if someone's got it. Or we can just discuss what comes in column 22 and move forward.
So this column 22 and 23, both column pertains to weekly monitoring of client fund, right? So there are total 12 points. So out of 12 points, member are required to report data pertains to 5 points like credit balance, debit balance, non-funded BG, margin utilized for position of credit balance client, and free unblocked collateral. So the same points we are member needs to report here, which currently member is reporting in enhanced supervision. And conceptually, there is no change.
Yeah. Okay. EPI securities has to be reported separately.
Sorry, Kamlesh ji, come again.
EPI securities has to be reported separately.
I think we're reporting
Question
values
is not very
separately.
clear.
The credit in lieu of EPI is a similar thing. Individual securities, I don't think are supposed to be reported separately.
And question is also not very clear.
True, true.
BG has been expired, but Leon FDR can't break premature. Hence, the same FDR which made from client bank balance should we report in bank balance? Please clarify. So BG has expired. So the FDs which were under Leon, they are not breaking them premature. So the FDs still remain. from the client, but not in the bank balance. So should they report it as bank balance? They're FDs, but he's asking, should we report them as bank balance?
So I think member is trying to ask if client has given some FD. Okay, so where he can report, is it?
No, the client has given FD for BG. BG has expired. So bank did not renew the BGs. So FDs remain. He doesn't break prematurely because of loss of interest. So FDs remain, but it is not in the bank balance. So where should he report this?
Okay. If client has given FD, client has given FD, then column number 14 of cash and cash equivalent.
Okay. Column number 14 of cash and cash.
Right.
For column number 9, if client balance on Monday 1000 by 800 rupees, and Tuesday he takes 200 balance payout, and on Wednesday for peak we have 0. So please give report. Prac is 0. Yeah, 1000. Understand. Samir Batavia. Okay.
What I understand, the client, see what the broker is trying to say. There was a balance of 1,000 rupees on Monday. On Tuesday, he buys shares for 800 rupees. And on Wednesday, a 200 rupees payout is given back to him. What he's trying to ask is on Wednesday, what should be the peak credit reported? Is it 0 or is 1,000? Because the 800 debit will be on Thursday. It will not be on Wednesday. And 200 rupees already given. So, if correct me if I'm wrong, Mahesh, I believe he'll be reporting 1,000 rupees as peak credit on Wednesday.
So in your example, 1,000 rupees are available on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, and 200 rupees he has paid on Wednesday back to him.
Okay. So still he's supposed to report peak ledger balance during the day. So 1,000 rupees was available during the day, peak balances.
True.
He needs to report 1,000 rupees.
Perfect.
So it's 1,000, correct. Sir, in case of T-day posting mechanism of bills, whether we have to report EPI credit in financial ledger. I think one of you all, either Nilesh or you can take this point now.
Column number 7, yes. Member needs to report EPI value. Column number 7.
EPI value needs to be reported.
Please clarify column number 22 and 23. It's not a question, but they want some clarification on 22, 20.
So again, column number 22 or 23, there is currently you are reporting 5 information in weekly enhanced supervision. So the same 5 information we have added with cash and cash equivalent. Conceptually, there is no change. The same value, whatever currently you are reporting in enhanced supervision, you need to report. So just refer our circular. It is very clearly mentioned. So in case if you have any doubt, then please further you can write to us.
Send an email if you have doubt, but it's clear. That's what Mahesh is saying. The next one is peak ledger balance shall be allowed to report unclear check and margin till paying complete as highest amount rather than net balance. Peak ledger balance shall allowed to report unclear check and margin till paying complete as highest amount rather than net balance.
No, unclear check is not part of clear balances. So it should not be allowed.
It should not be. Please explain again, same we've explained that, Shankar, 20 to 23. If we give EPI credit to client for further exposure, it means we have to use our own fund only. as that fund is receivable after 2 days from exchange.
No, query is not clear.
Is not clear.
If a client has not traded for past 6 months and his account is also being settled, our brokers need to report. No balance, not to report. Correct?
Sir, in this case,
If it's
if client is not active, then members are not required to report if client has zero balances. But client is trading in last 12 months and has zero balances, then members supposed to report in line with enhanced supervision monthly reporting, SEBI circular.
So yes, he will have to, because it is only 6 months that he has written. So yes, you will have to. EPI securities has to be reported separately in holding statement. No, right?
No, I don't think so.
EPI security means? I didn't get this.
The early paying of securities which he has done, I don't think we need to report it separately in the holding statement.
Yeah, because holding anyway it will get reduced.
Yeah. No, it is not to be reported.
For considering peak balance for the day, should we have to exclude all debit balances in the client's account for the day to arrive at this figure, or it has to be considered on the basis of timestamp?
Sorry, can you please repeat once again?
So for considering peak balance for the day, should we have to exclude all debit balances in the client's account for the day to arrive at this figure, or it has to be considered on the basis of timestamp?
As such, there is no fixed formula. You need to consider all debit and credit. You need to derive this peak balances. And the same formula currently members are using for margin reporting, peak margin reporting. The same formula member need to use here. And Nilesh Bhai can explain in better way since they are designing the system.
As such, timestamp reporting is what member is writing is correct. It has to go by time. Suppose if client has paid 1,000 rupees at 11 o'clock, then again at 2 o'clock, again 500 rupees is received. So it will be on the timestamp. However, the problem with the existing infrastructure is in bank statement, there are no time coming. So except for margin pledge repledge, there are no time coming. So Mahesh ji, it is a benefit of doubt whether a check or the money is credited in the bank account at whatever time.
Currently also
Mahesh ji,
no one looks at the
till the time
timestamp.
till the time RBI gives a date and time of the of the actual entry of realization into bank, it will be little bit benefit of doubt. So.
And Nilesh
But
bhai,
yes, ideally,
even the timestamp is not available with the peak margin snapshots. So
right.
one doesn't know at what time the peak margin snapshot was taken.
Right.
So
But
unless timestamp is available at all the places, it will be too difficult to provide a timestamp based peak credit balance. Once timestamp is there for market based payouts, for bank statements, and for peak margin snapshot, then yes, we'll be able to provide it that way. But
in a longer run, it might be timestamp. But right now, check received as well as the money which is credited by way of ITGS NEFT, actually there is no timestamp. It is just a ambiguous thing, right?
That's exactly the point. I think currently there is no timestamp. So, and I don't think we are ready for that. I don't think we have any timestamp basis consideration that we need to take. The next one is that BG has been expired, but Leon, it's the same question again. BG has been expired, but Leon FDR can't break premature. Hence, the FDR which made by broker from client bank balance, should we report in bank balance? Please clarify. It will remain in the client's ledger as we discussed earlier. Correct, right?
Yeah.
The next one is column number 8, considering balances including own, error, but debit credit not considering, which will to report in column number 22. Then how will match with column number 8? Please explain in detail. So column number 8, balances including own, error, debits, credits not considered while reporting in column number 22. Then how will it be matched with column number 8? Please explain.
No, client detail should be matched with client balances. Own details cannot be matched with total balances. So
The reporting is only
if you
for
see our
client, right?
circular, yes, if you see our circular, it is very clearly written, credit or debit balance should match with aggregate client-wise credit and debit balances. So we are not considering in column number 8 own balances.
Okay. Can you, again, it's a 22-23. Can you describe properly about column number 22 and 23? In 23 column, total debit or credit, etc., has to be mentioned for all 6 days.
Yes, for all 6 days.
Okay. Is it compulsory to post EPI credits in normal financial ledger only, or a separate report can be maintained which can be used for giving EPI credit to clients for margin?
Separate report can be maintained. What does it mean?
So basically, as this was taken up earlier, that just to not have a mismatch, you give instead of giving the full credit, that credit is only used for exposure, but not a ledger credit is given, because that happens on the payout day. So just for exposure purpose, if that can be taken as a separate ledger from the
separate
inspection.
ledger. Oh. Separate ledger is also fine.
Separate report, basically. Yeah, that's fine, right? Yeah.
Report means I am assuming it is a separate ledger for EPI, right?
Yeah,
correct.
Other than the main ledger.
But in that case,
that is also fine.
But in that case, in column number 7, the value has to be a part of that.
Added.
So even if somebody is maintaining as a report, so when we are reporting column number 7 as a ledger balance, then this figure has to be a part of that also.
Right.
So just to summarize, the column number 7 includes the actual financial ledger, plus if the people are maintaining a separate virtual sort of ledger, that number also should be included here.
Right, Nilesh? Right.
I think we've tried and answered most of the questions. Some are repetition, so we can kind of skip those. So if there are no more questions, then we can probably think about winding this webinar today.
I just would like to make a request to Mahesh ji. Mahesh ji, are we releasing FAQs on this soon?
FAQ, not kind of FAQ, but some feedback, whatever we have received from earlier webinar or with our discussion, we will add in our UAT circular. So it will help to members.
See, on certain columns, like people have confusion on peak balance or, column 8, 9. If you could have, some sort of examples, like earlier also in some of the circulars, some examples were given where one could make out, okay, what he's supposed to do. Because that clear a lot of confusion. Otherwise, the queries will come to us.
I think 8, 9, 22, 23, some of these have been quite a few repetitions. So
Mahesh ji, what we can do is we all vendor also can sit with you and help in drafting that FAQ. So that will clear out a lot of confusion.
Okay, we have noted this point, so we'll see.
Okay, especially on the peak balance, I know that we are going to have a tough time because some of our customers will say X, some will say Y. See, in past also what we did, we provided parameters. Okay, now this is what is available. You choose and define for your own setup. But we would like if the FAQ or the examples could be there, like we had in earlier circulars, it would be easier for everybody, to understand and don't have any ambiguity later on.
Right, agree. So we'll try to incorporate some example for column 8 and 9.
And if possible, Vaiji, we had made a request earlier also. If some of the inspections on a trial basis could be conducted with the latest circulars, we volunteer our customers. I can volunteer on my client's behalf. One or two cases for each vendor. If you could, do the or let there be a mock inspection if at all it is possible.
Okay, thanks. Noted.
So, Mahesh, before you exit, with the permission, should we take a couple of more? They've just come in.
Yeah, sure.
We'll just take them quickly. Okay. So, we are sending NACH transaction statements on the T-day after market hours, but bank gives credit on next day. Then it's required to report under unclear check balance.
Notch payment. So whether bank account of member is credited on T-day on the transaction day?
So
It gets credited on T+1.
T+1 generally, because even Notch is there, and then some of these credit card payments, etc. Sometimes they come the next day.
Okay, so amount is not credited on T-day. Then what is the query?
But the person's account is debited on the T-day.
See, it is
Client
due to
account
the
is
banking
debited. Okay.
debited. The genuinely instruction is given on T-day, but due to the banking process and cooling down methodology, the actual amount gets credited on T+1 morning. Genuinely it is.
But it will not affect since the amount is not credited in trading member account. So it will not be part of your bank balance reporting.
Okay.
Okay. In case of T-day accounting system, already credit of T-day bill is given to client in ledger on T-day. Hence, EPI credit may not be again posted in ledger. Please confirm. So they are running a T-day accounting system.
Okay.
So they're saying that in case if the credit is so it's billed and the credit is given, then EPI credit may not be given posted in the ledger again. Which in a way, yes, because you've already given the credit of the bill.
No, sir.
There are some issues also.
No, sir.
Yes,
No, the problem here is even if it is a T-day bill post. So while in T-day bill posting for the purpose of margin, generally member reverses the T-day bill posting and then calculates the balances.
Members
So,
cannot
if the member choose
T-day bill posting. It is.
But honestly, sir, speaking, a member cannot consider the T-day bill posting also because that is not settled obligation.
Concerned
so
because it is not considered.
So
obviously.
Obviously, it is not considered. So that means that has been reversed while calculating the fund balances to be considered for margin purpose, right?
So the brokers who are preparing on T-day, the actual credit will be considered on T+2.
Exactly. So in that case, then how will the member take the benefit of EPI? I mean, if it is not posted in the ledger.
There are two methods. Some people are posting it on Monday and then reversing it on Wednesday. Some people are keeping virtual ledger.
So that means even in the case of T-day bill posting, also members are posting the EPI.
Posting it in a virtual ledger sort of. So
in that case, Subhankar ji, I don't think they'll be posting in ledger. They might be maintaining it separately. Because see, if they post on ledger, then the values will go haywire. Because see, suppose a customer has sold shares worth 1 lakh rupees and given a EPI and they're doing a T-day posting, so he can't have a 2 lakh credit in his ledger. So in that case, they will be reporting EPI balance in column number 9. But column number 7, we may not, business is already posted complete value. So they'll not be showing EPI credit as a part of 7, column number 7. This is what I understand.
So that's not a concern. I
Realized
mean,
on T plus
if the EPI is posted in a separate ledger also, that is fine with us. I mean, but EPI
That
has
is
to be
what. Perfect.
EPI has to be posted.
Has to be posted. Yeah. Okay.
Even if it is in a separate ledger, that's fine with us. We just exchange just mentioned that EPI has to be posted in the ledger. I mean, whether it is being posted in the same transactional ledger or in a separate ledger, that's not a concern. If it is
Absolutely.
posted in the ledger, then it's fine. But for TDA also, member has to find out a way to post the EPI, because TDA bill posting, TDA bills will have to be reversed while calculating the margin.
Usually is considered on T plus 2, even though it is prepared on T day, because it is unsettled. So it is considered as T plus 2 for all purposes.
Exactly. So somewhere the EPI has to be posted on the T day, either in the transactional ledger or in the separate ledger.
Right, perfect. And that is how the prevailing practice is.
Correct. Okay. There's one more circular on which they have pointed. This FDR thing we had taken up earlier. It says NSE Circular 44459 dated May 26, 2020. In point number 1, they have mentioned that any FDR that has been created out of client bank account without any corresponding entry in the client ledgers and not placed with CC, the same has to be added in the client balance. Not a question, but they're just trying to bring this to.
Mahesh, I think anyway, when they create a FD from client balance, they are not debiting individual client as such. So I think client credit will still remain.
So client
Am I right,
balance will remain
Subhankar?
the same.
Right. It will not affect this reporting. So there is no
Them,
concern.
yeah.
No, actually, Mahesh, this will not affect this reporting, but the question is coming from a point of view of G calculation. Because in G calculation, since we are not taking the, since we will discontinue this weekly monitoring of client data submission. So the bank balance reporting, we will consider the bank balances from the bank balance reporting. So there the FDs are not being counted. Right, Kamlesh ji? I think.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. So
this
that
is coming
makes
from,
correct.
this is actually not related to this reporting, but it's coming from the G calculation. But again, I will just pose a separate question, not a separate question. I will pose the same question. What is the need of creating a FD and not placing it with CCCM? Why is it being kept with the bank? I'm clueless about that. I don't know why, because there isn't any arrangement which is better in terms of FD being created and kept in CCCM.
Yeah. So if you can just kind of check on this point. Okay. Why we have to report EPI credit in column number 7? Because in case of T-day posting, whole balance is reported.
No. See, whole balance means if T-day billing is there, is already explained, it will be settled on T plus 2. So there is no question. I mean, it is again the same
Question, another way. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We are not taking a notch credit as peak margin. We are not take a notch credit as peak margin. What should be the value to be reported in case of pool account column 18 with haircut or without haircut? And rate should be considered for which dates? So in column number 18, where shares are in pool account, with haircut or without haircut? Rate, I suppose, should be EOD, but they're asking for the rate too.
Yeah, I think in this column 18, we are taking the stock where early paying was not done. The client sold the shares and given it to the pool account. And if I remember correctly, we are computing the value as against that transaction only. Say this is
Yes, so it will be without haircut only, because this is only for the purpose of tracking those transactions wherein securities have moved to the pool account.
To take the benefit of the 20% margin.
Yeah,
exactly. Mahesh, any other view? Because in the FAQ, nowhere we have mentioned without haircut or with haircut.
Sorry, Subhankar. Sorry, can you just do column number 17 or 18?
No, pool account.
18, the pool
18.
account.
Pool account will be without haircut only, I think.
Sorry, Kamlesh ji, whether.
So the question is that in case of pool account, column number 18 should be with haircut or without haircut, and the rate should be considered for which date?
To column number
18, pool account.
Column number 18, pool account valuation.
I think Mahesh, this was the market value of the transactions, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, exactly.
So this is the market value at the rate on which the customer has sold. This value has to be considered without any haircuts.
Right, it should be without haircut. And
okay, I think we've done up with the whole type of questions. With that, we conclude today's session. On behalf of ANMI, I would like to thank all the panelists to answer all the queries satisfactorily. Exchange to work together with ANMI. With now that we've got even the software people along with us, I see that things will be much smoother versus than what it was earlier. Lastly, appreciate the active participation by all the members. Thanks for the questions and thanks, panelists. It was a great session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.